Because that
Yeah.
but Shapiri. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Let me get this live, and then we'll jump into it.
Okay.
Cool. Because that
Yeah.
but Shapiri. Yeah, all right. Let me post it on Facebook here really quick, and then we'll be good to go.
Okay.
So, how's your day been going so far?
It's fine. I just worked.
Yeah.
I'm like not in my house right now because they're like I rent a house and they're like ripping out the bathroom.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's
But otherwise I didn't really do too much. Worked and went running and worked on music stuff.
nice.
Typical day.
What do you do? It's like, are you a full-time musician at this point, or
No, not yet.
not yet?
Um I am a nanny.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, that should be posted.
Okay.
Come on, there you go. Cool. That's what I like to see. And if you are ready, we'll jump into it.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, awesome. Cool. Welcome, everybody, to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we're back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Jeni Schapire. How's it going today, Jeni?
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. First off, I want to thank you so much for jumping on. Really appreciate you giving us the time.
Sure.
I always enjoy getting to know new people. It's always really interesting though, like when it's like the first conversation we have is on the podcast, so it always makes for a fun time.
Yeah.
So, for the people that aren't really familiar with you, what's kind of your origin story? What got you into music? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I grew up in New Jersey and then went to school at Oberlin in Ohio for music, and then I came to Nashville after college. And I've been working doing music stuff. I mean, I've been playing music my whole life basically, and then I started writing when I was 15. Um I was really bad, but then a lot has changed since then. You can't be perfect when you're 15. But yeah, and then after college is when I really started being serious about my career. Yeah.
And is that ultimately why you ended up moving to Nashville? Was
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just like had it in my gut that I needed to do it.
gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to just like up and move to
Yeah.
pursue your passion. So I 100% admire the fact that you were willing and like willing to do that just
Yeah.
passion.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody when I moved here, which was kind of crazy. But I mean, I've been here like 2 years now, so a lot's changed, and I definitely like feel like this is my home. But
Mhm.
it was pretty crazy at first not knowing anybody.
Oh yeah. And I feel like Nashville is one of those places where if you just put yourself out a little bit, you're not going to be alone for long. You
Yeah,
know,
it's true. Exactly.
it's one of those things when I was moving, because I just recently moved to Waco, Texas about a year ago.
Mhm.
And it was between Waco and Nashville, and Waco had the better paying job. And Nashville, they were kind of on the fence if I was going to get the job. And I was just like, well,
Mhm.
I'm going to go where I know I have a job. I
Yeah, for sure.
should have probably waited to see if I would have gotten the Nashville job, but you
That's
know,
okay.
I, Nashville is always one of those places when I'm kind of ready to move. It's like I kind of want to go to Nashville, you know.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
But so you just released a new single
Mhm.
back about a month ago at this point, I guess, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
What's in a name? So what's that song kind of about, and how long have you been working on it?
I It's one of the newer songs that I've been working on. It just turned it just so okay, so basically, I decided that I was gonna use a stage name when I was 15 and just starting writing songs. And basically up until this year I was using that. And then I decided that it just didn't suit me anymore. It just didn't fit with like the way my artistry was
Mhm.
moving, and just it just didn't feel like me. So I decided to use my actual name, and I kind of wanted to write a song about it. And then it just turned into What's in a Name. And the first line that I wrote was What's in a name if it's not your own, which is the chorus of the song. And I mean that's how I was feeling about that stage name, that it just didn't suit me. And then kind of simultaneously, something that like in my personal life, I think that names are really powerful, and like, what people call you, like um if people can remember your name, like if you've met them and then they remember your name, like that's a powerful thing. And then also like a nickname is a very like special thing that I feel like is earned. And there are like, so I was just, and I felt like someone was using this nickname for me, calling me something that I didn't want to be called, or that I didn't feel like that they had earned. So there were just a lot of things in my life that kind of focused in on the power of a name. So I wanted to write a song about it.
That's
Yeah.
all. And so you released this back in September.
Mhm.
Had you had it recorded before the pandemic kind of started taking place, or
Mm-mm.
no?
Nope. I started it during the pandemic. Yep. And then I actually have another singing single coming out tomorrow too.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
We'll get to that here in just one
Sure,
second.
sure. Sorry,
No,
jumping.
you're fine. You're fine. So what was that kind of process like? Kind of working on What's in a Name during the pandemic? Because I mean, obviously studios and what have you.
Yeah, I just have like a minimum amount of equipment in my house that I can use, and just to like um I mean, I have a bunch of keyboards, and I'm becoming more fluent with Pro Tools, although it is a steep learning curve. Basically, I started What's in a Name at like is it was the only song on out of the songs I'm about to put out that really started in a production sense, instead of as just a song first and then adding production. So I started just like playing around on Pro Tools basically, which I mean with infinite amount of time in the pandemic was pretty easy to do. And then kind of took it from there. And then I work with my friend Daniel Marcus, who kind of we work very collaboratively. Like I'll start a song and then he'll add on to it, or I'll start some production, something like with What's in a Name. I really sent him like a near finished product, and then he took it to like the next level.
Mhm.
And yeah, yeah. So that's kind of how it grew.
Awesome. And so What's in a Name, and then you just mentioned that you have a new song coming out tomorrow.
Mhm.
Learn the Lie, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
all right, and these are like the first sets of songs under just your name as Jeni Schapire.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Mhm.
So what's kind of the story of Learn the Lie? What's
Yeah.
that song about?
So Learn the Lie is um came out of a moment where I was talking to someone that I was like having somewhat of a relationship with. And it was late at night, and they were drunk and spilling their guts to me. And it felt like it didn't even matter that I was the other person on the other side of the conversation. And I just felt like I was just like about to burst or overflow or something with all of everything that they were saying to me. Um, and so I just had to start writing the song. So it started with the first verse, really was like set the tone for the song. Yeah.
And is this another pandemic kind of project for
Yeah, it is just by chance, these two. The two that will complete the EP are older songs, but
you? Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
So you just answered my next question, which is, are they leading to an EP or an LP? So are you gonna do just the two singles and then release the EP, or are you gonna just release them as four singles and then put it out as like an
Yeah.
EP? Like what's kind of
So yeah, so the intent was to just do these two singles and then have there be an EP, but I actually think that that's about to change because of some exciting things that we'll see. But yeah, I think it's going to end up being just several singles
and
leading up to an EP that's kind of just like all of them in one place.
yeah, I got you. That's and fortunately, unfortunately, that's just kind of how the industry is right now. It
Yeah.
plays more to singles, like especially
Yeah.
with the Spotify algorithm and all that stuff. You
Yeah.
get longer legs out of your music if you release them as singles, and then as especially like right now as shows start to open back up,
Mhm.
you can package it as an EP, and then you have like
Mhm.
so yeah, like that strategy definitely makes a lot of sense right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
So for Learn the Lie, are you also doing a lyric video for it like you did What's in a Name? Or
There's going to be just a regular music video.
okay, so you're doing a like more cinematic music video.
Yeah. It's
Was
really
there
cool. I'm really excited about it.
when does that release?
I think next Friday it comes out.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Were you originally looking at doing a music video for What's in a Name, or because the lyric video kind of walks that fine line of a music video slash lyric video that you
Yeah, yeah, I felt like it served its purpose as kind of both.
mhm.
Um, yeah, so I didn't go in with the intent of doing another music video in addition to it. I
Because
feel like it,
that was like the
sorry.
first thing that I noticed about the lyric video. I was like, well, this could serve as both a lyric video
Yeah.
and a music video. You know, I originally I never really was a huge fan of lyric videos just because
Yeah.
I felt like if they were good, they were good, but if they were bad, it was just like
You
they're
lose interest easily.
but like just the importance of lyric videos now where it's like okay, now I fully understand what they're saying because sometimes musicians their diction isn't 100% crisp, or they have a way of like bending words and you don't really understand what they're saying as they're saying it, so it gives you like a better idea of what's being said, stuff like that. So i've
Yeah, absolutely. And
i've
I also I really like listening to music for the lyrics in particular. I That's always like the thing I try to listen to first.
Yeah, absolutely. It usually for me my listening is I'll just kind of listen through it as just the song a few different times, and then I'll go back
Yeah,
and kind
sure.
of dissect the
Yeah,
lyrics and what's being said. So
yeah, yeah.
um so that's cool. Is this like your well for the music video for Learn the Lie, will this be like your first music video you've ever done, or did you do it before you kind of switched to your
No, it's my first one.
uh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And is it 100% you making it, or did you bring somebody else in to kind of help on the creative and like camera aspect and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so the same woman who did the lyric video did the music video. Her name is Oceana Colgan. She's incredible. And she works like particularly with independent female artists in Nashville, which is like awesome. And she's I cannot recommend her highly enough. But so we kind of worked together on the concept, and then I had some input from friends just being like, what else does it need? What else can we include? But I feel really good about it. It's looking really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want you to give too much away. Like I don't want to, because I'd come in start asking very specific questions, and then it's just like, no, we're giving it away at this point. So
Yeah.
we'll kind of leave it there.
Yeah.
You said roughly the 30th. You think is when it's gonna?
I want it to be, I think it's almost certainly gonna be that day because I want it to be right before Halloween because it's a
Yeah.
little spooky.
Oh dang, Halloween is next weekend.
Isn't that crazy?
Where?
I know. The month is
Oh
almost
God, I was
over.
just like, Yeah, okay. You just scared me a little bit. And then we got the
Sorry. Yeah, it's
I was
not.
just like, I just realized I've been in quarantine or not quarantine, but isolation, lockdown, whatever, for 7 months, and I'm like, wait, where did the time go?
Yeah, I know. The year disappeared.
Yeah, it
It's not.
really did.
Yeah,
Um, so speaking on that, how obviously you've been staying very busy during the quarantine with
yeah.
working on new music videos, lyric videos, all that fun stuff. But have you taken the time kind of for yourself, taken any time for yourself to kind of like regroup, recharge, anything
Absolutely.
like that?
Absolutely, yeah. I think what working on music so voraciously for me was a lot of processing and a lot of decompressing. And yeah, really I'm really glad I have a really good therapist. And I like to exercise and go on really long walks. That's been really helpful to just kind of like take a moment or pause, um, be outside, be in nature, things like that. Those are the things that make me feel like everything hopefully will be okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's one thing that I've learned to love during this isolation, lockdown, or whatever, is going to sit out back because this is like the first place I've lived where I've actually got like a porch to go sit
Yeah.
out. And I live in like a dry riverbed. So every morning, the birds, the cardinals, just like all the local birds will come out. And then every evening, like the cicadas and all the like really cool insects that make, or the night life that make like noises and stuff. It is just really soothing. It is just like, I don't even have to go that far out just to kind of
Yeah.
decompress. So
Yeah.
it's always,
I
other
have a
than
backyard
possible
like that
the other night,
too.
that was kind of an interesting.
What'd you say?
I said, other than the possum that came out the other
Oh
night.
yeah. We have
That,
our fair share of those here too.
yeah. Um, so no, that's cool. It's one of those things where I think that was been the really good thing about this pandemic and just kind of lockdown in general is everybody's kind of gotten a chance to go internal and reset a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there's been a lot of negative stuff that's been going on in the world that's very obvious, but in the in between time, like it gave a lot of people, I think, a chance to kind of just pull back and like just look at themselves. Like that early on, I would tell everybody I sit and I don't really call it meditating, but it's just kind of like I sit with myself
Yeah,
and
exactly.
kind
Yeah.
of decide if I like myself the way I am, and if I don't, what do I need to do to change that? Why don't I like myself?
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I think that's I mean, with the whole like name change thing, that was really I mean, it was pretty clear before quarantine, and then once quarantine started, I was just absolutely certain
mhm.
that I just needed to like be more just felt like more authentic,
Yeah.
more true to myself.
Curiosity kind of peeking up. What was your stage name that you went by?
It was just Jennifer Ray.
Okay.
But I mean, nobody in my life calls me Jennifer.
Mhm.
And yeah, so it just didn't feel like me.
Yeah, I completely get it. I completely understand. Sometimes you need to change it up and go back to more authentic you.
Exactly.
And it seems like the pandemic kind of solidified that for you.
Yeah.
Have you kind of been during the pandemic, have you been kind of experimenting with like the virtual shows and doing like live streams and stuff like that?
Yeah, I have some. Yeah, like a couple times a month I'll do them. Um I like it. I think it's really, really weird. However, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
So
Did you have the weird first couple of streams where you had to get used to the fact that you weren't going to get any immediate feedback?
yeah, no applause is really bizarre.
Yeah.
Everyone just sends the clap emoji.
Yeah, because like I remember like back early on, like up until like the end of April, I want to say around that time, I would start watching all these live streams,
Yeah.
and like the first few songs, it would be 30 seconds, of dead silence after the first song,
Really?
and
Oh,
they're just kind of like, I don't know how to transition out, and that was this. So it was like this really awkward silence until they
yeah.
kind of was like, okay, I got to start talking or something. But yeah,
It's funny you say that. I think people forget their roots that when you're just starting out as an artist, you're pretty familiar with a very small audience, one, or, a very lukewarm audience that's like, okay, when's the main act gonna come on?
yeah,
So I was like, okay, I'm used to this and no big deal.
yeah.
So,
So being that you've been in Nashville for 2 years, have you had the opportunity to play at Bluebird yet, or is there still a few places that you really
I
like?
have not played at Bluebird. But Bluebird, I don't think is really well suited to the like kind of music that I make. It's very songwriter focused.
Okay,
But I've
you have
been
been.
to some shows there.
Is
Yeah. I have
the
friends who've played there.
okay?
But
Good.
yeah.
I wasn't quite sure as far as like what Bluebird offered. It they just kind of seem like they'd be like, yes, they or not pander. That's a really weird word to say, but they kind of,
Cater.
yeah, teeter towards more of the singer songwriters. But I kind of had a feeling that they would bring in other types of music. But
Yeah, no, it's mostly singer-songwriters and just people who are writing songs for other people as well.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, is there any place, or when there isn't a pandemic, how often are you usually out doing shows? Are you doing them multiple times a week, or are you a little bit more
I
reserved?
mean, if I am playing something like a writer's round, that can be several times a week.
Okay.
But other kinds of shows are slightly more infrequent.
Okay. So like the bigger like bar
Yeah,
show.
like with a band or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Is the plan to eventually start touring outside of Nashville
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah.
with the full band and what have you?
Yeah, although I've been slightly altering my set
Mm.
and it's a lot more like I can basically do it all by myself now.
Okay,
So I don't actually need a band.
gotcha.
So we'll see what it looks like when
So
we're
are you doing through like a MPC type setup, or are you?
yeah, a combination of like I have like a couple of different keyboards that I stack on top of each other with some pad buttons and then using Ableton on my computer. Yeah.
Okay,
I
that's
think it'll
really,
be cool.
yeah,
I haven't done it. I haven't performed it for anyone yet, but I've been working on it.
nice. And do you have hopes of debuting that soon, or are you just kind of going to work it out until live shows are
I'm not sure yet. We'll see. We'll see.
okay?
It is fun just playing just me and my piano. That's like I mean what I've been doing since
Mhm.
I was young. So, but the newer stuff will be cool when it can happen, when I'm ready.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then as far as like I know there's a big debate happening here in about 5 minutes. So I know you want to watch it, and I kind of want to watch it, but after the last one, it was just kind of like,
I know it's a little troubling for
yeah.
sure.
But who are some of your influences, like musically speaking?
Um, People usually, in terms of my music, usually reference people like Bon Iver, like Lana Del Rey, kind of like darker pop music. I really have been listening to Wise Blood recently. I like Halfwave. I think Imogen Heap has a lot of really cool music that people have kind of forgotten. Fiona Apple, um, Sarah Bareilles originally, really.
Hmm.
Um, Lots of folk music growing up, like Pete Seeger, Peter Paul and Mary,
Yeah,
and then I don't know, just all across the board. I just love music.
nice, awesome.
Yeah.
It's always curious because I'm always waiting for that one like rant. So you got like your solo country artist, and then they throw out like Little John, or like they just throw out like that one random hip hop act, or just something really out of the blue.
Yeah.
So I always look forward to that one random left field one. But
Yeah, for sure.
um, So the plan kind of moving forward is the singles to ultimately for the EP.
Mhm.
Are you planning on videos for the other two songs, like either lyric videos or music videos, or are you just
I would assume so. The plan has changed like within the past couple days, so I'm still in the process of regrouping.
okay?
But yeah, I would assume so.
All right, awesome, awesome. And then one thing that we like to do on Live and Amplified to kind of wrap everything up on a
Sure.
positive note. Um, what advice do you have for younger musicians that are maybe either just getting started or they're like ready to take that next step, whatever that next step may be?
Yeah, I would just say um be yourself above all else and be critical and skeptical and ask lots of questions and trust your gut. And put yourself out there and keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Even if it feels weird, you just have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep taking chances, keep getting that experience and just figure out a way to be authentic to yourself and trust in here because
Exactly. Absolutely.
you'll be right more times than not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But first off, I want to thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. Where can everybody find you online? Where can they find your music? All
Mhm.
that fun stuff.
Thank you for having me. And all of my handles across the board are just at Jeni Schapire and jennyshapire.com, Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Music, wherever you get your music, YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome. And then one final question: pineapple
sure.
pizza, yes or no?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. That's all. I'm using this platform for nonsense like that.
Thank
Uh,
you so much.
absolutely. Once again, thank you so much for joining.